What's going on, my people? J Soul here. Today I got a special guest, OG B-Boy of Las Vegas, Steve from Knucklehead Zoo. Now, Steve, do you have a B-Boy name? Exactly, you always go by Steve, or?
I've just always kind of been Steve. I've had like a few names that I've played with, but ultimately I just ended up sticking with just my name. I felt like that was the most comfortable thing, and a lot of times I felt like my alternative person was just me.
Yeah, okay. Keeping it real. I like that. So, how long have you been breaking?
I've been breaking since 96.
96?
Yeah.
Nice.
Since 96.
Same here, like 95, and then kind of like really got into it in 96. Mm-hmm. Found crews and other B-boys in the island.
Because it was the first person I ever saw break, and I was just like, oh, that's
from here?
Cool. Yeah, he's from out here in Vegas.
From an old school crew, or you just messing around?
No. He was actually kind of like a cholo raver.
Oh, no.
But he used to break too, so it was like, oh, that was kind of cool when I was really young, and I was like, I just kind of picked it up from there.
That's funny, man. Yeah, a lot of people talk about that, especially on the West Coast. Like, oh yeah, I used to rave and then do tricks at raves, and then, then they found out about b-boying and it, transitioned over from that. But that's a interesting relevance right there. Yeah. Raving into that.
Solo raving to here we are today.
Since I've known you, you're like one of the first b-boys I trained with since I moved up here in back in 08. Mm-hmm. And what intrigued me about you is, I think you were working at Cirque at the time. You were doing actual functional b-boy workouts. You showed me this one in particular, like this, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember, but you showed me a shoulder workout that I still use till today. Good. So right on for that. You were always like one of the guys that was kind of on it with the athletic side and the cross-training side of breaking, which is what I'm trying to do with BTRbreakin. I just wanted to get your take on the importance of cross-training for the athletic side and what you do, because you're a dynamic b-boy, the most dynamic b-boy here in Las Vegas, and yeah, we can talk about that all day, but as far as like athletics.
I think the athletic part of it is like, it is athletics, but a lot of times I view it more like as conditioning, because ultimately I am a b-boy and that's kind of like where my heart belongs, but overall, as we grow older, is going to be a time where your overall conditioning and self-training, self-discipline is really going to take over as you get into these older years, because I can just dance all the time and I'll be able to dance for a long time, but at some point I will receive injuries and my body will wear down, and maybe I won't have sometimes you kind of hit like a roadblock with your creativity, and having the ability to cross-train or just be functional in another sense will kind of give you that drive to keep going, maintain your health. And sometimes even from some workouts, you might get an inspiration for a move or two that you didn't really even think of. Yeah. Or the workout will allow you to do a move.
It'll open it up.
Yeah, it'll open up something for me that I couldn't do before.
You did a few today that I was like, oh, damn, okay, so wait, this is something, and it's kind of like what I do when I do these like types of movements and stuff, and it's a good way to train up to it.
A lot of the workouts that I do obviously are based on how well they condition you and how strong they make you, how flexible they make you. But a lot of times I'm doing them with specific moves in mind. I do certain shoulder exercises to work on my bridges and my hollow backs, or air flares, or something that'll help condition my handstands without my feet leaving the ground, or certain exercises with squats that'll help you develop faster movement in your footwork or more balance.
Yeah.
So it's kind of really just developing my overall range of motion so that my creativity isn't so limited to what my body can currently do. As my body continues to grow to be able to do more, my brain can maybe visualize more because I have more ability.
Yeah.
And I kind of run with that idea in the conditioning part of it.
You are a business owner. Well, let's start from the beginning. B-boy, professional dancer and performer here. Like I mentioned, Cirque, Jabberwockies, international competitor with b-boying and stuff like that. And your most recent venture, Ninja Karaoke,
Correct.
Which is a karaoke bar.
Yeah, an event venue.
Which is, you hold the most consistent battles here in town now, which is incredible.
I would do 2 battles a month. I would do First Friday, which would usually be for like the all-style or like freestyle dancers, and we'd have like a b-boy cypher, and then we would do a Sunday Fun Day, which is basically like a whole family event once a month, and it would be primarily for the b-boys for our area, and I would have like a kids battle and an adult battle. I've even been lucky enough to have I think it's the first one ever in Las Vegas. We had a full-on family versus family. We had a 5 versus 5, mom,
No way.
father, and then 3 little boys versus mom, father, a little boy, and his 2 sisters.
Beautiful, man. Breaking is no longer just for the streets in that sense, right?
No,
It's becoming more widely accepted, which is an incredible thing for the art and growing it.
I think that's one of the things that have helped like our breaking program a lot too. Is that
So the breaking program is I think the most recent venture of yours.
ZOOLOGIC
ZOOLOGIC, yes.
has been going on for about 7 years.
Okay, 7 years, okay.
Yeah, so like since then I've really seen the scene in Las Vegas go from like only the adult professionals to now there's a whole scene of kids, you know, starting from like I think our youngest kid that I've personally taught was like 5 years old, and up to like the next generation currently, which is like just turning 16, you know, and everyone in between. Because before that, a couple years ago, it was just, you know, me versus you, because we were like the only adults, like really in the scene. Not me, you know, there's other adults as well, but you know, it was kind of like that was the demographic. It was the adults versus the adults, and then really little kids who were like dabbling in it versus the other little kids doing the same. And so now I feel like one of our biggest things for ZOOLOGIC, the program, was to create the next generation, or kind of to bridge that gap, because between my generation and the one before me, there was a gap. There wasn't like that was kind of still like the early internet time, and people weren't really trying to like socialize with another crew or anything like that. And now that because it's become so global and everything, it's like in reality we're just trying to produce the best people possible. Not only the best b-boys or b-girls, but the best people who are educated, who are good people, and have a drive for something that's creative and helps benefit a lot of people. That's really like our goal for our program.
And I can see it growing. It's a beautiful thing for the community, the city,
Consistency is the biggest thing.
The culture as a whole, man.
Consistency is the biggest thing. As long as you keep doing it over and over, people will slowly recognize. You won't get any more like, you might not get too much recognition for what you're doing, but in reality, I never really started this to be the most famous teacher or anything like that. And you can even look at the way we're marketing it. We're really trying to create good people, and that's really the goal. And I want someone when they grow up to see that somebody took the time to make a good person, because the kids that we're teaching, they're kids. Even our 16-year-olds, you know, they're still kids. They're young men and women. Yeah. But they're still kids. And maybe they don't understand it, but one day when they realize this 40-year-old was taking time out of their day every day to help create something for their future, or to install something in them to make them a better person. Because I could just be doing my own thing and just be worried about me, and that's it. But that doesn't really leave a strong legacy behind for my group or for your group or for any groups that we're involved in. And it doesn't create them to want to bridge the gap for the next generation under them. And so that was like a big thing for us.
And you know what I commend you guys for as a program and what you've been doing, and I'm sure the athletic side has something to do with it too, and your programming and the way you guys train, is you guys are able to replicate dynamics specifically, and that interests me big time. That's the whole kind of athletic side of it. But you know, I see a lot of your kids doing head spins. That's the thing that like no parent even like really wants their kid to kind of mess around with, because of the risk of it, right? But
you got to compare the risks. How many kids can do head spins versus kids playing football? Most kids will get injured playing a sport first, because there's an external force. You play basketball or football or soccer, any of these sports, there's another 80-pound person running at you, and if you collide, there's going to be an issue. With like head spins and things like that, like you might get hurt, you might strain your neck, or you might fall down, but in reality, this is just my perception, I'm already on the ground. So me falling is like literally, I'm already on the ground, so I can't fall too far. And then at the same rate with our dynamics, we teach these kids a lot of technique. I don't have a kid just up there trying to spin on his head first thing. You know, we teach them how to get up, how to balance, the formations, the positions, the techniques, and then we start building.
You guys represented the U.S. right a couple of years ago at the biggest competition in the world, Battle of the Year.
Yeah, and it's
no other program I believe has done that. Taken kids and brought them on the top platform and created a show around them. The discipline in that in itself. I mean, we did Battle of the Year.
Yeah,
that's another thing I highly respect you for. You added that dynamic and kind of made it possible for us to hit that very important big stage factor, which is the eye candy, the dynamics.
We started from scratch with kids that literally don't know how to break.
Yeah.
And in 6 years, we took them to the world finals, world best adults.
Yeah, adults.
I'm here with this 7-year-old.
And they killed it, dude.
The 7-year-olds that were over here competing against the world's best, and it's really just because
they look seasoned when they're out there, man. They look.
Number one, because of Eric and Justin and myself, I think we took a little bit of time out of ourselves and in reality put our own careers kind of on the back burner to create a platform where we can show you that with our energy we can create a program that's effective. It's
a crew and family aspect of how you came up as a b-boy that you're so all angles of the culture you're really instilling in your guys' program and all that, right?
The family is like one of the biggest things that we can preach for our culture, because even anything in the hip-hop culture is really like each one teach one, and how can we help each other? Like, how can I help that b-boy get better? How can that MC make that MC better? How can that graph writer show that guy to be better?
Sorry, real quick, Khaled just wanted to do a quick edit. She said to mention B-girls too, don't forget.
Oh yeah.
You said B-boys, but yeah, B-girls too.
Oh yeah, well, even in our program, it's not like, we also take care of the B-boys, the B-girls, we take care of the moms,
the B-moms, the B-dads.
Yeah. And a lot of the times the program, without them, it's not even possible. Our goal for these kids is really to be not like a parent figure, but kind of like somebody that I'm trying to emulate for them to grow up to be. Like
role models.
That's
like big.
I never said I was anyone's role model. I'm not trying to be. But if I would have grown up and had someone like me who would have kind of been on my ass and helped me drive a little bit harder or work a little bit harder, I would have probably been a little bit farther in my life. I might have made a few less mistakes.
Positive reinforcement, right? If you're not getting it from your parents, you're getting it from your peers. And a lot of the times your peers, they kind of...
I think for anyone out there that's looking, if you're good at b-boying, b-girling, working out, drawing, anything, if you really want to take it to the next level, try teaching somebody.
Yeah.
That's really going to make you hone in on your fundamentals. It's going to make you really work on your creativity. It's going to make you work on how you speak and handle yourself around people, how you handle other people when they speak to you.
I heard about that. There's a lot of value in that point right there. This guy, Dr. Zaki from Optimized PT, he referred me to there's like a 4-step process that this, he's like a brain surgeon. I forgot the name of the guy. I forgot the name of the process. I'll source that, but there's basically 4 steps of effective teaching, and the last step is just that. The first step is to talk about it. The second step is to talk and demonstrate. The third step is to talk the student through it while they demonstrate it. And the fourth step is for them to demonstrate it and talk about it or teach it, basically, right? So, yeah, so there's value in that.
We follow the same principle. So like for me, like, through many other hip-hop people, I was heavily inspired by like Wu-Tang Clan and like the old school martial arts flicks and all that. And so we kind of run with this concept of like the 36 chambers. Everyone knows about the 36 chambers. For us, what we really believe, the 36th chamber is teaching. It's not it's now that you are a master, how do you recreate that? And
legacy, right? Also is the one of the...
I feel like, so for some of our students, we have some kids that teach our very young kids, our beginners, and although they might not be in the 36th chamber, they're close to it, even if they're not the best b-boy in the world. But they...
So real quick, so those who don't really know about the 36 chambers, break that down real quick.
So pretty much the 36 chambers was like an old school kung fu flick, and pretty much what they're talking about is like, the first chamber in is like you walk in and you know nothing. You're like brand new student, first day, like what are you gonna learn? The first chamber, I don't know, if you were in martial arts, maybe you're gonna learn how to throw a nice punch or a nice kick. For the b-boys, you're gonna learn a top rock step and a footwork step. and a freeze, just so you can start. Now you got the concept of how to dance on the ground, when to stop, when to start.
Yeah.
The next chamber will then be adding directions and changes and different postures, and each chamber will continuously add
Different aspects of
your
of
arsenal
your art.
of weapons
Okay.
that you can use, and eventually you're going to have an arsenal that you're comfortable with, that you can use efficiently and effectively against someone else or with your team, or you
Yeah.
can share. And then ultimately the last thing is, once you mastered whether it be your own style or a style that's been introduced to you, is learning how to teach it effectively and having somebody be able to carry on that tradition for you.
A large percentage of the people that I know in my life is like, oh man, I want to dance, I want to practice. This is my passion, but just life, man. I got kids, I got a business, I got jobs, and just all these excuses.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Is that just what it is, excuses, or like?
It's not just an excuse. 'Cause I know people that have kids, and your kids they should be your priority. And I have friends that have kids, and they're like, oh, I can't make it to practice. I gotta do this with my kids. And that's some legit shit. That's hella real. So yeah, you need to take care of your kids. But I will also say this: if you surround yourself with good people and people who are willing to help you, that you're willing to help, a lot of these times, an excuse can become. I want the kids to know too that sometimes feeling an inner fire might help you. It's going to be the thing sometimes that pushes you. Your frustration and your anger sometimes is your biggest drive. Like
That inner drive, right? That's one of the things when you take kids from a clean slate, trying to teach them that inner drive.
That's hard. This inner drive that's kind of like a wild animal, and if they can learn how to tame it, it's going to be like something that kind of gives them the edge because they have this inner fire that they can hone. Hip-hop stays positive.
Man.
Ultimately, we're all in it for hip-hop, so it's like I'm trying to spread each one teach one and just be a part of the culture. That's really what it's about, because if you don't have the culture, you're just breakdancing.
Yeah, you're just moving, you're just doing capoeira, you're just doing like gymnastics and stuff, right? Yeah.
But if you're not really about the culture or sharing that energy, then it's like
you'll never tap into a lot of the benefits, the true benefits of that.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of things you're gonna miss out. You're gonna just be really good at cool movement.
Yeah.
And that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying everyone's all in hip hop. That's cool too. You don't gotta be all about hip hop. You can be about rock and roll. You could be only about working out. You could be about growing plants.
Yeah.
Whatever you want. Just saying, like, if you're not about the culture of whatever you're in, you're gonna miss out on a lot of beautiful things, and you're gonna miss out on meeting a lot of beautiful people. Being hip is knowing, like, the knowledge.
Yeah.
Hop is the movement.
Uh-huh.
So you have to have both, or you're just moving around.
Yeah.
The knowledge and the culture is going to be one of the biggest things that I feel any program should be really pushing. And if you can get that to one of your students, or whether it's one of their parents or just someone in the area, your program or whatever you're doing, or even you as a person, you're on the right path. Because you're sharing something that you love and that hopefully will resonate with someone else. And if they can experience that and enjoy that, then you guys could share something, and now you guys have a bond. We're not friends at this very second. We're both doing it for the same reason.
Yeah.
And ultimately, we're trying to push each other to the next level to create something better for the people behind us.
And that understanding, people don't see when they're battling too, right? They don't see that, like, that's kind of what it is. Like, it's martial, it's competitive, and we're trying to one up each other big time. And
Of course.
the silver lining of that, it does look, pretty explicit at times, but
Sure.
that's what it is. We're pushing each other, and nothing fuels that more than rivalry and all that stuff, right?
Motivation. Like, I think one of the biggest things in motivation is external motivation. I know we all need internal motivation to do things that you don't want to do. It's much easier, this is just my perception, it's much easier when you have an external as well. Like, for fighters, I want to win the fight, but sometimes you're tired. But when this guy's standing in front of you, punching you in the face, the motivation is either get out the way or knock him down too. And sometimes that external motivation, whether it's getting punched or whatever, or when you're battling someone, you see the energy coming at you, and a lot of the times it's almost easier to reciprocate that energy. Like,
Yeah,
I feel it coming at me, and I have to push back.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's one of the big things too, because as a b-boy, you want to win all these events, you want to do this and that, and that's internal. But that guy over there wants to win too. And so when you guys meet, this internal energy becomes external, because now you're both going to see it and it's going to both come at you. And that's going to be one of your biggest teachers, is how you deal with this external motivation coming at you.
Much respect for your program.
Yours as well, man.
And what you guys been doing and your contribution to the culture. Never selling yourself short. Never selling the dynamic end short. You mentioned now earlier, as you get older, the importance of athletics, cross-training, prehab, and all that stuff. You train right now more than ever. I believe you said your schedule is you do one hit day, a cardio day, and a yoga day.
And then I take one day to rest.
And you take one day to rest, and then you do 7 days of instructing as well. So it isn't quite a rest, but...
Yeah, but it's...
So we were talking about the importance of keeping your body moving and doing different types of workouts to keep your functional and be able to have the strength in a later age, because you said you're 36, about to be 37. I'm 35. When you were younger, was everything kind of natural for you, or did you have a natural physical inclination? Certain people have a genetic advantage, right? They have we call it triple stitch fiber, right? They have more muscle fibers within their muscle makeup. You seem to be one of those guys. Did you have to train in the beginning before you got all your air flares, all your flips, and all your dynamics? What's the genetic advantage to having to train?
Well, when I was little, I didn't play too many sports, but I had a really hard Mexican father. And when he was little, he grew up on a farm in like the middle of Mexico, and it was like he's up every day at 5 a.m. taking care of cows and doing blah blah blah, and millions of things, right? Like, luckily, myself as a city kid, I didn't have to deal with. But growing up, my dad did make me get up at 6 a.m. to go cut the grass and do yard work and do whatever he felt was necessary at the moment to get done. And it didn't make me run faster, jump higher, none of that. But it did instill this thought into my head that it's like, I kind of grew up used to working hard. And so it kind of just became natural, as into like, to sweat. It's like to go hard and sweat was like, in my house, was like a very normal thing. And if you weren't working that hard, it was kind of like, my dad would give me like this look like, the hell are you doing? Or he would literally grab me and go, get out of the way, and he would do it himself. And as a kid, I'd be like, oh well,
hold on.
But as I
those are some of the best leaders and teachers, right?
I was like, you know what? I get it, because I was being lazy.
Yeah.
Once I was like, it took me a while to realize that, but once I realized that, it kind of like fueled me, as in like, I understood what he was teaching me. And I got lucky that I understood the concept of hard work while I was still in school. I got lucky that at some point during like 7th or 8th grade, it kind of clicked. Like, I understand.
Yeah.
And so, no, I never played sports. I've never the fastest, jump the highest, run, do any of that. But to work hard was very natural, and I think that's kind of what helped. Okay,
so you think it's possible for someone who doesn't have that genetic advantage, like some of the guys I listed, that can just naturally jump high and run fast and push harder. It's possible to train.
Yeah, I think
to train up to that.
I think talent is amazing. If you don't use your talent, you can be outworked. If you have a gift and you don't use it, this guy who works way harder than you might be able to come and get you. But if you're talented and you use it, you're going to be very hard to beat. So for a lot of people, they are blessed, and they do have, I don't know what genetics it may be, or what they have internally in them that makes them stronger, faster, harder than other people. But yeah, some people are blessed with that. That does happen, but never think you can't outwork them. And a lot of times people that can jump higher, run faster, push harder, they look at something and they go, I think I could touch that. I think I can run faster than that.
Self-belief, right?
And that alone is already unlocking you to go in that direction. Because if I watch somebody do 10,000 air flares, let me be more realistic. If I watch someone do 20 air flares, and the first thing I tell myself is go, man, that looks really difficult. You're already setting yourself back.
You're already losing, yeah.
If I look
yeah.
at it and go, all right, I think I could do that. All right, let me watch that again. I'm already putting myself in that position where I'm in my head, I'm watching myself do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so for a lot of these people, even though it is physically like maybe they are in better shape than you are, but a lot of them have this vision in their head. They see themselves doing it already.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can see yourself doing it already, you're already almost halfway there, because
Yeah.
you can envision it. If I can see myself doing it, I can kind of imagine the feeling. If I can imagine the feeling, my body can kind of sense the sensation.
Yeah.
And so if I can see myself doing it, I can imagine it. I can kind of feel in my head like what my body would be doing.
Yeah.
I'm already kind of halfway there. The next thing is like, all right, well, let me get up and throw myself.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
And that's just it right there. You hit it right there, imagination. I did recently kind of come across that fact right there, that your imagination is a big part of learning. If you could sit something, watch it, visualizing it, that creates the imagination. And then once you can like imagine it, that's the mental part of it, which, like, as you attested to, that is like more than halfway there.
Oh, dude.
Right.
For the imagination
The
part,
belief
for any
of it.
those kids, any of these B-boys or B-girls that are like the best in the world, at one point they just imagined that they wanted to break. At one point they imagined they wanted to be the best.
Yeah.
At one point they imagined they wanted to make a living. You know, and,
Yeah.
and here they are. They're doing it despite whether family told them not to, school told them not to, financial hardship, emotional hardship told them not to. They've managed somehow through creativity and through their mind's eye, made it happen for themselves. And I think your imagination is the strongest thing you have, is stronger than your arms and your legs. Because even if your arms and legs are strong,
Yeah.
I see some B-boys lose to other B-boys that are just creative.
For sure, for
Because
sure.
they're flexing their imagination. They're flexing this muscle more.
Boom. That's an incredible point right there. The brain muscle, right?
That's
The
the
brain muscle
strongest
controls the single stitch fiber or the triple stitch, right?
Controls all of
and
them.
okay.
So I think that's like one of the things a lot of these B-boys will focus in on too. Like even some of the B-boys you see doing like one-handed air flares, or the ones that are now working on the double air flare, you know? Like it is a lot of physical endurance, but they envisioned it. They saw it in their head, they imagined it.
Yeah.
And then their brain went, I think I could do that.
Yeah.
Hold up. And then it clicked. So once it's clicked like that and you kind of put yourself in that situation and you kind of expose people to doing certain things, it's going to click for a few people. Mm-hmm. And now the race is on.
Yeah.
A lot of people in our community, in any community, have to make sure to praise the people above them, while you still have the opportunity, and thank them for whatever education.
Thank you for practicing what you preach, man.
Oh, thank you, man.
All important information and topics and stuff like that. And good luck on your entry and journey into the 36th chamber, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. You
Peace,
too,
my
man.
brother. For sure.